So in your book, Seeker, sorry,
Hmm. Hmm.
Reclaiming Feminine Wisdom, you talk about overcoming barriers and dependencies. Can you
Hmm.
actually share a pivotal moment from your book that greatly influenced your path to freedom?
Yes. Well, there's many. The biggest one was when my parents decided um, to try to escape. So the story, just a short version of it, is mm, uh, the um, the Hungarians decided to open the border to Austria, and that opened up a little tiny gap for Eastern European people to possibly get away from the communist regime that was we were being controlled over by Russia into Western Europe, which is what we were completely cut off from. And and as I was mentioning in my intro, we unfortunately got caught in that attempt. However, the you know being sitting hovered in the back of the seat of that car and watching my parents in the ditch at gunpoint um, did something on a core and foundational level in my body and in my brain, um, that as an 11-year-old I couldn't comprehend like what I was going to do with that. But looking back, I now know that that was a pivotal moment in my life that influenced my drive, my desire, my continuous fight for my freedom, my personal freedom, which has then inspired all the other actions that followed. Whether it was breaking free from the corporate grind and overwork, or whether it was breaking free from alcohol and drugs, or whether it was breaking free from relationships that were not serving me. But it has, like, this moment right then and there, my parents risking everything for me to have a life. Wow, that's bringing up emotion. For me to have a life that is not restricted by a government, to tell me what I can eat, or when I need to sleep, or what I can read and what I can learn, and when I can, like, those restrictions that are very much part of communism. For them to fight so hard for my freedom instilled that seeking personality in me that I haven't stopped since then. I mean, we celebrated 33 years of the fall of the wall last November,
Uh-huh.
so that was a long time ago. And for some who may be listening to this show, you weren't even alive when it happened, but it was a pivotal moment in my life.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I just couldn't imagine as an 11-year-old girl seeing that. That's like you said, it changes you. And then you
Yes.
want to make a difference now. From like from that point on, I just want to change
Hmm.
the whole communist mindset. And that's horrible because I still feel like that here, even in the US, it's rules, rules, rules.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
remember, I guess I never liked rules because growing up, I think I had mentioned this in one of my podcasts when I was a baby, I was in the car seat, and my mom says, "You hated the car seat. You just wanted to get out. You wanted to be free." I was like crying. And then I remember, like, when my mom would say, "Well, make sure you're home at this time," like, no, but I'm 18. I was just like,
Yeah.
anyway, I was not a rebel. I won't say I was a rebel. Well, I'm sorry, I take that back because the drinking did make me a rebel. But this is before I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was a rebel, but I wasn't really following too many rules. So, but what I was going to say is, as a coach, what advice do you give women who are actually struggling to rediscover their power and purpose and joy?
Hmm. Well, it would go right along the same lines as what I would say about anyone who is sober curious and wants to explore that. And that is, the first step in everything is to just acknowledge it. Be
Yeah.
like, one of my favorite authors, Daniel Laporte, says, freedom follows truth. And
Mm.
that is 100% what I mean by that. It's uh, truth, but that doesn't mean truth to people outside of ourselves. It means first and foremost being truthful with ourselves. And for some of us, that might look like just admitting that, you know, life isn't the way I like, is not for shaping up the way I would like it, or I'm not happy, or I'm not happy in my work, or I'm not happy in my home, like being more specific in what area of life is maybe affected by your um, lack of, um, but acknowledging it, and just sitting in that, and really like taking an honest look at what parts of it do you play in that role? Where is it that life keeps dealing you this particular hand? You know, because again, I don't believe that outside of us is as profoundly impactful in our daily lives as we make it. It's all from within. So we create our own realities, we create our own mind, we create our own thoughts, and we have at any point in time, we have the choice to choose a different thought. So it starts with acknowledging that and just being honest. That's where I would start, and then you know, seeking out support, because the journey of self-discovery and really identify that, which is what follows, you know, is not one that, well, you can do on your own, and it's going to be a lot slower, and it's going to stomp, and at least it'll stop you when you get stomped and you have a difficult time going deeper on your own terms. So I would say seek out maybe your first steps, like where could you find some support? You know, again, that looks different for everybody, because you know it's very specific to your circumstance in terms of, is it you want to quit drinking? Well, um, find a sober curious group, or find you know, find a coach that can help you maybe get started on this journey. If it is in childhood that you really want to start healing some of the past stuff, you probably want to go and look for some therapy, you know, because those people are equipped to they're trained to mentor and guide you through these trauma sessions that are likely going to come up, because at the end of addiction, especially, most often there is some traumatic event that has happened in our lives that has left us feeling like we can't cope in any other way than numbing out. So, and that might involve someone who is trained for that sort of thing. And then
Yeah.
um, so once they've acknowledged it, once I've acknowledged it, and then I sought out help, um, then I started to just keep reading, keep learning, keep growing, just walking my path with it, and always looking for what brings me more joy, and keeping at it. So and I think that's the message. It's not a one and done thing. It's a journey. And
Yeah.
like any journey, we need to continue to work with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's journey is different. And so what looks like somebody's journey and they're doing something different and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out for me." Do what's best for you. You know, don't follow, like for example, for me, like AA wasn't I didn't
Mm-hmm.
align to me, it works for some people and that's great, keep going. But for
Yeah.
me, it wasn't. So I had to actually look for a mentor coach to help me with my mindset. I didn't know about any like sobriety coaches or anything like that. So that's what I did. And she was also a fitness trainer. So I was really working out a lot, getting me all like pumped up and just all those endorphins. And I felt so good and I was looking
Mm-hmm.
better. I mean, your life completely changes when you stop drinking. Your skin starts glowing all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
feel like you just feel like you're shining and then
Yeah.
you're the world needs you. The world
Yes.
needs you. So yeah, that's what I always say because we're all one. We're all one.
Well, and it starts within, just like your podcast, right? Like it's not something we can attain from the outside. It is all within. And so what I heard you say is you started with taking care of yourself, you know, and the side effect of exercise happens to be that we're flooded with these positive endorphins, which um, can, especially on a rehabilitation journey can be so helpful, because that is what our body is craving, is these fake endorphins that we used to get from drinking or from the drug use, right? So rebuilding them on a natural basis through exercise or movement is such a helpful way to first step. And I also loved that you said you started with a mindset coach, because there, maybe we're not ready to dive that deep, and that could be a big fear that is holding some of the listeners back in terms of even looking at sobriety, because they don't want to look at what is at the bottom of that bottle,